It's 5 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order and do the roll call.
Commissioner Pesevich.
Here.
Commissioner Daly.
Here.
Commissioner Richardson.
Here.
Commissioner Bennett.
Here.
Commissioner Delgadillo. Here.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
And
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of May 6, 2025 board meeting.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second that.
Any discussion?
I'd like to amend the minutes to make an addition, a couple of additions. At the end of the minutes, I would like to add that acting chair Daley acknowledged two main points from the public comment. The need for increased capacity for affordable and family housing, and exploration, discussion on ways that the Marshfield Housing Authority is managed. Those were the two main points that Acting Chair Daley acknowledged.
I think that's kind of already included. Acknowledge her remarks and explain that any discussion on the matters would have to be on an agenda for a future meeting.
But I think it's a key thing to notice that you did pick out two main points that you picked up on, that were acknowledged.
I'm not sure it's relevant, but, you know, I'll move into the rest of the group.
I think it would be in fairness to the public commenter, that it was acknowledged that her two main points got across, because and that it was at least acknowledged by the board, and it was also
Yeah, I'm not sure about the second point. I'd have to look at, you know, the recording of the meeting. I know I acknowledged that her point about increasing capacity, and that we acknowledged her concerns about questions, but you know, I think that's as far as it went. In any case, I don't think it's business, board business, that requires being codified in the minutes.
Any other comments? Agree or disagree?
I think it was covered by his comment that he said he would enjoy, we thank you for her comments.
Yeah, I think we all listened intently, and she made her points, and she was acknowledged, and we appreciated her coming in and talking to us, absolutely. But I think it was included in there as well. Yeah, that's my opinion.
My opinion too.
Well, then we'll take a vote.
Are there any other comments besides? Commissioner Pesevich.
On the minutes?
just that I acknowledged and appreciated, and I appreciated her comments and acknowledged the importance of citizen input.
Ready for a vote?
But we all did. We all acknowledged that, and I actually sat outside, and obviously not in the meeting. I talked for a good over an hour. So I think we all acknowledged it as a board.
And it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
We'll take a vote.
Okay. Commissioner Pesevich.
Yes.
Commissioner Daley?
No.
We're voting,
Are we
we're
voting on the
voting on the
amendment?
minutes.
We're
Well,
voting
the
on
motion was to accept the minutes as stated.
Right,
So that's what
that's what
we're
we're
voting
voting
on.
on. Okay.
Well, there was a motion to amend, so you need to vote on the motion to amend.
Well, you
On the
didn't,
amendment.
no, we didn't, nobody made a motion to
Oh, okay,
amend.
well, if I act off of an amendment, then we should have a motion, this motion discussion to accept the amendment.
Well, we did have a discussion, and I thought we,
Is there
Well,
a
you can't have a
second?
discussion
Is
without
there-
a motion to accept the amendment.
So,
Is
but-
there a second?
but first we would have to, is there a second on the amendment is there a second on Commissioner Pesovitz comments to amend the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take a vote on the minutes as stated.
Commissioner Peskovich?
No,
Commissioner Daley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett?
yes,
Commissioner Delgadillo?
Yes.
And Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Well,
We
you
were
should-
getting to abstain.
Because you weren't here.
Abstention.
you have to abstain.
No, I don't have
You don't
to
have to
abstain.
abstain.
No.
He reviewed the minutes.
I
That's
can-
right, you
I
did.
can vote even though I'm not here.
Oh,
He has that power.
Yeah, well,
I'm not-
yeah, every member of the board can vote yes or no or abstain if they wish, even if they're not present at the meeting.
You're just reviewing the minutes. You're just reviewing the minutes.
Next item on the agenda, Tenants Association.
Okay, Tenants Association, we're going to put on in August to have our new officials elected, give them the oath of office. Okay, in May, we had an ice cream social, which was well received by the tenants. We had a Sunday fun day. And on June 15th, we're going to have a Father's Day breakfast, sponsored by James. And then July 5th, we're going to have a 4th of July cookout for the tenants, sponsored by the association.
Oh, terrific. And everything's
Going
copacetic?
copacetic for now.
Great.
The association is trying to keep things going.
Yeah.
Have you, I'm sorry, may I? Have you stopped doing the breakfasts?
We did, because the cost of food was getting,
Yeah.
and the attendance in the last breakfast we had wasn't well received. So we're going to try a Father's Day breakfast and see how that works. We're going to do sign-up sheets and send out flyers.
But you haven't stopped it completely at this point?
No,
just
because
sporadically
we
when-
sporadically will do it,
Okay.
and we're going to do sporadic ice cream Sundays on Sunday afternoons, because the kids really seem
That's
to enjoy
nice.
that. It cost us about $50 to do the Sunday party. We had a lot of people in here for it, so it worked out.
And any comments from the association on the maintenance upgrades?
Yep, everybody in the whole structure loves all the landscaping done around here, the flowers and the plants. Really well received.
Great.
And our garden, yep, Robin's got our garden going pretty well.
All
But
right.
that's my report for the Tenants Association.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the accounts payables and financial reports. So we did receive 3 financial reports, one for the month of February, one for the month of March, and one for the month of April 30th, 2025. Any questions on the financial reports?
Just with our representative here at some point, we talked about this before, be available to go through a financial, one of these financial reports at some point in some detail, something that's been lagging and been on my wish list since I got here 2 years ago. And we talked about doing it, and it would be helpful as a refresher for me, maybe for others, to just go through it one time at some point.
Could you ever meet? I mean, I'd be happy to meet.
Yeah.
When
Give me
you
that time
say-
some point.
You want to meet some, before the meeting at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, let's do that the next meeting.
Have him meet with
I
any?
know we're not meeting next month, though.
Yeah.
So maybe, unless you can make time during the next month or 2 months or 6 weeks, something like that. Where I
Yeah,
could talk to you, or even go to Quincy or wherever you're at.
yeah. Well, I come down for the tennis meeting at 3. And that lasts till 4, and then I'm here from 4 to 5.
One more thing. I'm sorry,
Before
Mr.
any of
Chairman,
these-
I know this is not going through you, but
Before any of these meetings, anytime we have a meeting, I'm down here at 3 o'clock anyway.
okay.
So
But you're not available until 4.
I could do it at 4, or we could do it at a different time. It's just, that would line up with my schedule nicely.
Can we do it at a meeting?
We can do it at a meeting, or we could start the meeting at 4 PM.
Because there's no way I could meet with you any other time during the week.
I'd be happy to meet with you any other time.
Okay. Could you set, is it possible to set up a time to have a meeting? I mean, I'm willing
But
to
is that
try.
appropriate?
Yeah.
Well, that did
Like-
distractions. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about make any decisions.
No, I'm not saying anything particular about anything wrongdoing. I'm just saying, is it more appropriate basically for us to all, because you had mentioned,
Yeah, if you
and you
want
wanted to catch up,
Right.
but at the same time, and you said maybe others would like to catch up as well.
Sure.
I would like to be part of that, whatever it is as well. And I
Okay.
think as a board,
That's excellent.
we should all
So
be
why
part
don't
of
we
it.
meet, can we meet at 4?
So why don't we make it optional so that, and I'm not sure we should schedule it for August or not. But, we can schedule a meeting at 4 PM, and any board member who wants to attend that to review the financials can attend, and then we'll start the official board meeting at 5 PM. But,
You have to be very careful about the appearance of a quorum.
So I think we have to be careful not to do any board deliberation,
Right.
just basically, we are a passive audience. And
And I'll
we
talk
can
about
ask
some-
questions about,
The financials.
And that's what,
general categorizations, but not specific.
Right.
to the MHA, right?
So,
And not specific to the MHA.
right, yeah, just,
that's why I think one or two people talking with John or somebody would avoid the issue of a quorum and having to post a public meeting notice. That's why I'm requesting if there's any time. I can even talk to you on the phone sometime in the next month or so.
That's up to John. Do you have the time to do that?
I do have time to do that. I have time to talk to any board member at any time.
Okay.
Mondays and Fridays are better on my schedule,
Excellent.
so.
If that's okay, does that sound okay with you, Chairman?
That's
All
fine
right,
with
could
me.
you write your number down and I'll be in touch with you and then
Yeah.
we'll hash out the time. But other than that, Mr. Digadillo's suggestion and your suggestion of 4 o'clock.
I kind of like that. That way
Pre-session.
we all hear the same message and
Yeah.
we are passive. As long as we're passive and we don't discuss anything, is that right?
I would caution against it. I would say if you really wanted to have the explanations, I think I would do it at a board meeting. I think an agenda item would be my suggestion.
The other thing we can do is, next time we have a budget, I can bring in the accountants, the CPAs, to present the budget to you.
Yep.
And then you can ask the CPAs any other questions.
And that's done at a meeting.
So we're happy to do that too. They've gone to Hanson, they've gone to Quincy.
All right.
They're happy to come to Marshfield. They used to actually always go to the managed agencies, and then COVID happened. So then they kind of got away from that, but I can get them back here.
Isn't
And
it,
when would that be?
The next time we get a budget, so we just kind of went through the budget cycle.
but the fiscal ending, isn't it on June 30th?
June 30th, yeah.
So wouldn't it be a good time July meeting for us?
We don't have a July
Oh,
meeting.
that's right,
Yeah.
August.
And the budgets are, even though we're in a new fiscal year, it takes a long time for us to get the budget, you guys know the process.
Yeah.
We're not really gonna be talking about the budget probably until,
So what I would like to have, like, the financial documentation kind of explained in principles, in like different categories and how that apply. If we're doing it at a meeting, we can kind of get into more specifics about how this applies to operations and how this applies to operations and, you know, just basically, you know, a lot of times the accountant comes in, he pre-assumes, you know, knowledge of a lot of the details of balance sheets and things like that. We'd like them to come in and basically give us a, like, explain it to a layman type of session.
I'll bring them up to that speed, and then they can answer you guys specific questions on either the annual, fiscal year financials or the budget when they come in.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So would everybody want to have an agenda item to allow for John to basically explain to us?
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and do you want to schedule the meeting to be commenced earlier? So we address that for the first?
I have a problem
time?
with earlier meeting times.
You do have a
Well,
problem?
we could go longer.
5 o'clock's still kind of pushing it for me.
Yeah, that's fine, we can go longer.
If it's okay with you, you guys are,
Yeah.
after hours for you guys.
I think I would prefer to do that in September though than in August.
Okay. Maybe if we just try to keep the agenda items at a minimal for that particular meeting, and then try to take up the the bulk of the time. Let's hope nothing happens.
In the meantime, sure.
You know, out of it by legislative, definitely by midnight.
Definitely better.
All right, so let's go back to
Basic question.
So are we
these
going to have-
financials.
Yeah.
Nothing big.
That's fine.
Any questions on the financials as presented? So my comments on the February report, it's great on the Senate receipts. Looks like we're doing a great job of collecting the rent. And then on the subsidy, I'm assuming it's just a delay in getting paid on that. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the delay.
And then we had,
Which one is that? Which item
that's on
is the delay?
February report line, count number 3801. We have a $65,000 deficit on that. And then on the contract cost, line 4430, we have a $28,000 deficit. Is that an overrun, or is that just,
That's on the, let's see, that's based on the budget, right? So we're over budget by $28,000. So part of that was the initiative they did for the extraordinary maintenance, right? Let's see. I think it's going into there. So remember, you guys voted on like $171,000 for the extraordinary maintenance.
right,
Like a lot of that contract cost is probably sitting
is it now?
yeah, but we knew that was gonna take place. Because we were trying to spend down some of that. So,
All right, thank you.
And then how do you, if I may, how do you explain item 1123, an allowance for doubtful accounts being in the negative?
that would be, let's see, 1123.
Under accounts receivable.
Isn't that just a projection of what we anticipate not being able to collect?
Yeah, so that's 50, so when,
But I think if I may, John,
yeah, go ahead.
you'll see a write-off today in that we're going to write off some rental receipts.
Right,
So I'm assuming that's the allowance, or at least a portion of it.
that's the annual set aside for
Well,
write-offs?
that's through February.
If it goes over, I think it's if it goes over 30 days, it takes 90 days, then they write it off. But before the write-off, if a tenant's account goes over 30 days, they have to take 50% of that value, and they have to allocate it towards allowance for doubtful accounts, assuming that hopefully the tenant will make good on it. After 90 days, if it gets written off, then they already have half of it allocated to our allowance for doubtful accounts. Then they capture the other amount. So they take it out of receivables and it's written off as a doubtful account. So there's two different parts. One is it triggers if it's over 30 days, they take 50% of it and they put it in allowance for doubtful account. And then the rest of it gets taken off when they finally move out or 90
It's
days.
vacated tenants
Vacated tenants,
that owe a balance over 90 days.
yeah.
So that amount shows up in February and March, but it's zeroed out in April.
And that's because of that motion that you guys are gonna vote on, I think. Motion to write off 16,281 over 90 days.
16,000 or 31?
Well, the motion is
$16,281.94.
So,
And we are collecting on those past two accounts, the doubtful accounts.
so of that 31,000, which is actually, if you look at that, it's the same amount. They're writing off $16,000, I think.
Of the 31.
As of when, to Cecilia's point, it shows up as, if I'm looking at the right account, as zeroed out in April.
Zero, out. Let's see, on account 400-1,
1123.
Actually, it shows up
On the
twice.
MRVP,
yeah, so that's MRV.
that's different.
Yep.
Yeah,
So 400-1 account, everything rolls up to the 400-1 account. So that's where that $31,538 of this account, 1123 allowance for doubtful accounts. So that's as of April.
Any other questions on the financials? I'm going to break this, go ahead, Cecilia.
I was going to ask, why does it show up twice? They're both assets, they're different account numbers, but they're titled the same thing.
Is it two different programs?
Is it two different programs?
Well,
Yes.
well, over one, and there's the.
The 1123?
Yeah.
Yes, the MRVP.
Right.
Yeah. it's-
Oh, got it.
One
Okay.
is state public housing and one is MRVP.
Okay. All right, thank you. Because the title is the same, and
Yeah,
that's why I saw that it was
they
zeroed
break it out by program
by program.
too, financials, yeah.
Any other questions on the financials? I'm going to break down item 5 then, to take a motion on the approval of the financial reports for February, March, and April 2025.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Peskovich,
Abstained.
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes,
Commissioner Deladillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes. Now we'll review the accounts payable. I do have one question on just page 2. Most of the Eversource payments are in the, hundreds of dollars or so, but there's 2 that are in the thousands. Payment number 16,566 and 16,567.
It's two separate,
It's a
they're each paying 2.
672 and 671 programs. Right?
And they're each paying 2 bills.
That's correct. They're paying 2 months. They're paying February, March, and April. So the 2 bigger programs, and they're paying 2 months.
So what are the bigger programs?
Well, 672 and 671.
It could be the community rooms, in the cost of just keeping all of the electricity on, the community rooms, the dryers, the kitchen. It just depends on where that meter is located.
So that could be one for Grace Ryder
Right,
and
that's
for
what I said.
T-Rock.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we know which one is which, or does it not matter?
Yep, on the first one, 566, that check number, you'll see the 10-672, so that's the 667-2. That is Grace Ryder, and 10-671 on the next one, that is T-Rock.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioners have a question on the accounts payable?
Did I just hear a reference to 672?
Yeah, we're
Payment 672?
No, payment 672, program 672. We were talking about these 2 checks, and this is
It's
where,
566,
yeah. So it's for 2 different months,
right?
and it's for program. This one's for 672, and this one was for 671.
And may I ask, what is the accounts payable payment summary report? Does that correspond to the
Yeah, this one's detailed, and that one's just listed by check number, who
payment?
was paid to, and the payment number, and then the amount. This one gives a breakdown of which accounts it was allocated to. So this one's more detailed than that one.
I mean, for example, I just picked one item out of here. It was a minor item. It was John Foster Lumber. It's payment number 16453 of March 24th, 2025. This is listed at $8.38. Again, this is nickels and dimes, understand? But if I try to match
That
that,
was March, this is March's.
this is
Different dates.
It's different, these are different months,
Right.
so,
One's March, one's
Yeah.
yeah, so date 3/26 and then 5/22. I'll just print that.
She's supposed to be giving you, this is all.
Should have been named,
discussion.
she may have just named.
You're supposed to be given one of these for each month,
Mhm.
and then one of detail for each month.
It looks as though it just, she did
Mismatch.
March instead of May. It looks like it might have been a typo for her to print the report.
It's not a typo, it's
It's just the wrong report.
wrong month.
Instead of doing March.
She might have inserted the wrong month.
Yeah.
maybe that can be corrected at some point.
It certainly can.
Any other questions on the accounts payable? Seeing none, we'll take a motion.
Make a motion to accept the accounts payable from payment 16554, payment 16596 for a total of $70,879.57.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Pesevich,
Yes,
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes,
Commissioner Delgado. Yes. Commissioner Richardson.
Yes. Item number 6 on the agenda, motion to write off $16,281.94 vacated accounts receivable balance for tenants vacated over 90 days as follows. MHA tenant write-offs, 667-1 for $4,939.90. 667-2 for $11,342.04. And 705 for $0.
I'll make a motion, we write off $16,281.94 vacated accounts.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Can I just ask, maybe assistant executive can tell us, or John, what does that represent? Does that represent how many multiple tenants?
Right.
Is it like 3 tenants, 1 tenant?
Similar question.
I believe it's for the, I couldn't tell you exactly, but for the 6671, I believe it was a matter of 3 tenants. For the 6672, I think it was 4 tenants.
Are these tenants all people that are no longer tenants?
They are vacated tenants,
They're vacated.
over 90 days.
And when did the vacate?
It could have been any time in the fiscal year.
Anytime.
We don't write the walk until now.
So the write-offs occur typically
At the end of the fiscal year.
at the end of the fiscal year. So what fiscal year are we talking about?
This fiscal year.
25.
Ending 6/30/25.
Do we anticipate any more write-offs?
Not this
Not this year.
So this is the anticipated write-offs for all of fiscal '25. Is that right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Thank you.
That's not bad. Right.
Well, what's the revenue, 600,000 or something, what is it?
I mean, I don't know the exact percentage of it, but it would be,
What is the revenue, what is that rent revenue for that program?
Through April,
Those are- The rent revenue is
Yeah,
moving target.
oh, right.
That is a moving target.
Sliding scale
through
on
April, 554,000.
Yeah.
554?
Right.
And that's according to the April, what line item?
Yes. It's on line item 3110, so you figure that's an average of about a little over 50,000 a month,
Yeah,
so you'll be talking at
I actually got
650.
that section circled for question. Thank you,
You're welcome.
thanks for your help. So the motion is pending.
Yeah, motion's pending, hearing no further discussion, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Peskovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Daly?
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett?
Yes,
Commissioner Delgado?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes. Item number 7, motion to cancel the July 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting.
I make a motion, we cancel the July Board of Commissioners meeting.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Only if something happens, we should meet.
Yeah.
So I'd say motion to cancel the regular. If it's, makes any difference. But no, it's not a,
I think we could leave as is, because then I would just have to call the special
right,
meeting.
right. No, I don't disagree.
Okay. We'll take a vote.
Commissioner Peskovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Daly?
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett?
Yes,
Commissioner Delgado?
Yes.
And Commissioner Richardson?
Yes. Item number 8, motion to approve and authorize executive director to execute the certificate of substantial completion for Dandis Contracting for state project number 17115-ARPAFF, roof replacement and siding, 231 Carswell Street and 635 Ocean Street. Contract is 100% complete. Punch list is 100% complete. Actual CSE document is being generated by the architect.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
The actual CSC document being generated, what does that mean? Are we going to be getting that someplace down the line?
Some point down the
At some
line,
point down the line?
I don't
Okay.
know exactly how long, but basically, these things take X amount of time. They then get signed off by X amount of people. and then it's finalized.
So, to that point, the architect would be preparing his report in support of the executive director, right? Not as in support of the contract.
Right.
It's got to be submitted to the state,
Right, but the architect's report will validate
the work.
the work of the contract
That's correct.
on behalf of the
Executive director.
But, and it's my belief that we as a board have to approve this before the architect signs off. Am I correct on
I
that?
believe so.
Yeah, and the fact that it's on here, James is pretty much saying it's 100% complete. Otherwise, he wouldn't have this motion.
Right. Any further discussion?
I just would like it to say what John just said, that it's been reviewed, that the certificate of substantial completion has been reviewed by the executive director, and he certifies that it's complete. Am I right on that?
Any comment?
It's on the, James put this on the agenda, which means he has already signed off on it. The motion does not need to say that the executive director approves this and has signed off on it. It's understood that he signed off on it because he lists that everything is completed.
Well, I agree with you, then it should say what you just said.
It doesn't need to say that.
Well, I think it should.
Well, I think we're authorizing the executive director
To make that decision.
on his judgment of the work in the project to execute this.
Exactly.
I just think that should change. I'm tired of just saying we authorize the executive director to do whatever he has to do, and without any kind of explanation, or him putting his name on the line saying, I did review this, and I'm certifying to the board that I found everything in order. Not just for us to assume, especially when we don't always know the ins and outs of the processes. I don't think
It's spelled out.
So,
So
that's all I have to say.
You feel better if there was a certification signed by James?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to put his reputation and his position on the line by certifying to us.
His
Yeah.
reputation is on the line.
Well,
Just by putting the motion on the agenda, he's putting his
He writes
reputation
this
on
in
the
motion, he writes these.
But he can't certify it until we authorize
Until
it.
you authorize
Right.
it, correct. He cannot take a certification.
it seems like a catch-22 kind of.
The
Well,
board's job is to authorize the executive director to submit and certify. That's the board's job.
so in my opinion, the board has hired the executive director. We therefore trust the executive director to perform his responsibilities to the fullest extent. And therefore, if the executive director asks us to approve a motion to approve something that he has to execute, then it's my belief that he has done his due diligence and has already performed everything that he needs to accomplish. Otherwise, there would not be a motion. And unless we feel for some reason that we don't trust the executive director, then that becomes a different scenario.
That's a bigger issue.
And then a much bigger issue, and then we would have to make a bigger decision. But for right now, at least I trust the executive director, and as chair of the board, I would recommend that we leave the motion as stated, and we vote on the motion as stated.
And all I want to say is the board's job is to supervise, oversee what the executive director is doing. It's not the other way around.
But I don't think it's the other way around. Now, we are overseeing what the executive director is doing. You have the ability to contact the chair to talk to the executive director about any concerns that you may have. And if you wish to contact me, you can do that either by telephone or email to basically address that concern.
I just expressed my concern to you directly. And it's our job to supervise the executive director and what he's doing, and I need total transparency. Not just blanket trust. Trust but verify, as the saying goes.
So I would submit that that's not what this motion is about. This motion is to authorize the executive director to exercise his discretion to sign the certificate. And that's not a question of, you know, whether we're doing our job or he's doing his job. That's it in a nutshell.
But we should also see whatever is being submitted to the executive director. And right here it says the actual certificate of completion hasn't even been generated yet.
It can't be generated until we authorize it.
Exactly.
We're not authorizing the architect to generate the certificate of completion. He's doing that on his own before anything happens, right? We're not authorizing the architect to generate a CSC.
Well, I'm
We're
not sure.
authorizing
You don't know what the process is, whether the architect can't go forward until he gets the certificate from James.
It says it is being generated by the architect. It's not saying the architect's waiting to generate it. So that's fine, I've had my say, and I will not be voting yes on this, so you guys can go ahead and vote.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Peskovich,
No.
Commissioner Dan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes,
Commissioner Delgado,
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes. Item number 9, motion to approve and authorize the executive director to execute change proposal number 1 to contract with Systems Electrical Services, Inc. for project 171120. Generator install 667-1, 667-2. This change proposal is a no-cost change to extend the contract duration by 90 days due to generator and transfer switch order delays by the manufacturer. Architect's change request and contract to change proposal are attached. Contractor has reached out numerous times regularly, and manufacturer has not responded. Contractor is obtaining a letter from supplier documenting reasoning.
So it's just a delay. They're just delaying it, there's no change monetarily.
Do I have a motion?
I'll
I'll
make
make
a,
that motion. Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the executive director to execute change to proposal number 1 to the contract with Systems Electrical Supply Services.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yes, this is an example where what's going before the executive director we're being made aware of it, and we have a record of it, and this is the way it should be done. So I'm okay with this. This is the right procedure.
Thank you. My only question on this, do we want to, I know this is a big contract, I know there are delays, but are there any alternatives? No other
That's what we
suppliers?
need, the supplier is the supplier.
Alternative suppliers or alternative
It's
contractors?
probably the lowest bidder as well, so. Was most likely the lowest bidder we entered into contract with, they're just asking for a 90-day extension of the original contract.
That's a great point you make, and maybe, I don't know how can we communicate that to the executive director, to ask if this is going to keep happening. Maybe we should authorize him to reopen the contract and look for other sources or something. We don't want this delayed. I don't know if that's appropriate. Is there a way to do that?
I think I would like to get some kind of comment from the manufacturer. I don't want to delay the motion, but I also do want to get some feedback from the manufacturer.
Okay, so I'll request that feedback.
Yeah, maybe just
All
follow
right,
up.
that's fine. Follow up from the manufacturer, the supplier, what the time frame is. Is it gonna be likely another extension, or is it gonna be I know the goal is to get this thing done by, I think, sometime in the summer,
Yeah.
early fall, is the
Right.
deadline that we're trying to work towards. And that's the time frame that was thrown around today, in today's
It
meeting.
was. We're still on target.
So I'd like to know if the 90 days is going to be sufficient. That if the contract cannot be fulfilled within that 90 days, to notify the board in advance.
Okay, all right, I will find out for you.
Yes, the contract duration is 90-day extended, not necessarily the job. Right, is that right?
Uh,
The contract has to be done within a certain period.
Right.
So they want to extend that 90 days because they can't get the parts. So, but if they can't get the parts, in 85 days, then we know
Yep.
that we're going to be coming back to this.
I don't know, does John's suggestion have to be incorporated into our motion, or is that?
I don't,
I think we just need to follow
Not at
up
this
on
point.
the nature of the problem. So,
The generators are all set, it's just the
Yeah.
transfer switch, from what I understand, so.
Well, it's okay with me.
any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Peskovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Davey?
yes.
Commissioner Bennett?
Yes,
Commissioner Delgado?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes. Item number 10, the managed agency report.
All right. So great news about the Father's Day breakfast. James is kicking in the money for that. He wanted to make sure that all board members knew that they were invited. It's going to be June 15th at 9:30. You guys can make it. Let's see, landscaping all around. The buildings have been completed. The monthly grade of food bank was delivered.
It's
The pergola pad poured and prepared. The pergola's been ordered. Downspout extensions on all the buildings have been completed. The elite fire alarms inspection completed by Grace Ryder and T-Rock. All the vacancies that were required are completed. Flooring, Grace Ryder completed in units 4, 3, and 1. Plus common areas, south and north halls completed. 635 Ocean Street, building envelope is completed. The CDC application in progress for the cupola repairs at Grace Ryder. 305 Webster Street project in progress. Fence extension completed for the community garden area. And let's see, they conducted over 25 interviews for the new support services coordinator position. We have a candidate that they're checking the background, so they hope to have that person in place within 2 weeks or so. Modernization report for June, lots of projects. Got project 171, 115, Ocean and Carswell Street, building envelope. Mentioned it's 100% completed. The change proposal number 2, credit change approval last meeting. CSC monitoring this meeting. CFC will generate upon 100% billing. Project 171, 120, generator installation, T-Rock and Grace Ryder. Generators and transfer switch are on order. ETA July of 2025. Project 171, 125, Grace Ryder septic system management. Project 100% completed, awaiting final closeout documentations. Project 171, 110, ARPA target award, Federal Pacific Electric System replacement. Construction documents, phase complete, awaiting EOHLC engineering review memo, bidding estimate end of June. Cupola project, site walkthrough completed, CPC application estimated submission by the end of May. CPC application deadline 9/30/2025. The annual town meeting warrant will close on Monday, January 27, 2025 at 7 p.m.
That was 2 months ago.
Yeah. The annual town meeting will be held on Monday, April 28th. So there you go. We're going to get the update.
Yeah, I think that was on the last.
It was. We're on an update. Project 171, 134, 305.
And it was a fun meeting
Building.
if you were able to go.
Phenomenal. Construction documents, submission being finalized, bidding estimate late June. Grace Ryder, congregate flooring replacement, force account project plan, approved by EOHLC, work on second phase completed. Third phase is 50% complete, estimated completion mid-June. Extraordinary maintenance projects, T-Rock community room, kitchen complete. T-Rock hallway, flooring replacement started 75% complete. T-Rock Community Room, solar shades completed, T-Rock landscaping started, T-Rock pavilion concrete pad completed, pavilion being delivered and installed on within 3 weeks, door strikes estimated week of May 26th, bathroom remodeling not yet started, community room flooring not yet started, outdoor seating ordered, ETA week of 6/9, door signage order to be placed, tree removal completed, maintenance shop shelving, ETA week of 6/2, maintenance shop flooring, ETA week of 6/2, EOHC project 171-136, aging in place, routine turnaround award, new award granted to all housing authorities, utilization on reasonable accommodations and generally accessible requests is ongoing. And the other key thing that we talked about earlier today is that, you know, state law encourages housing authorities like you, like some of the other ones, to partner with organizations like Quincy, to the point where they're even starting to talk about having regional managing authorities manage most of the small and mid-size housing authorities. So kind of regionalizing, centralizing, the goal is to bring, you know, better services for the tenants, better maintained buildings in a more cost-effective way. So it's kind of a direction that the state is going, and you guys are kind of ahead of the curve, because you're already doing that. So hats off to you. I think Quincy's done a lot of good work for you folks. Look at all the projects, kind of the change, and we're talking about the changes at the tenant meeting from before we were here, and of course I wasn't here, but they were telling stories to the point where Quincy's been able to take it, and we're very proud of that.
You know, I agree on that. And so from the state level, though, they're talking about regionalizing to support the smaller local housing authority. We're not, because years ago, they also talked about eliminating, you know, small housing authority board of commissioners.
No,
They're not talking about that.
they're not talking about that at all. In fact, what we've done is that we have literally taken the managed agencies that we're managing, put them on our platform, but it's completely autonomous. So you guys have your own, all your invoices are coming to this location. So if for some reason I had to decouple any of the managed agencies, I could literally just decouple, hand you all your payables, hand you the checks that we haven't signed, and you know, you could literally try and start fresh. But then you're hiring an ET person, you're hiring staff people, you're hiring laborers, and what the state's really finding is by centralizing a lot of these efforts, we're able to deliver, you know, excellent services for the tenants in a more cost-effective way.
Thank you.
May I comment? This is just a question. Item number 10, should that be CPC application and process instead of CDC?
Yes.
Okay.
Should be.
Could you
Yes,
have that
CPC.
corrected for the record?
Yeah.
Thank you. Number 10.
Oh, number 10.
It's just a typo.
Yep.
CDC, yeah.
Thank you.
And
I have a question, may I ask a question? You mentioned at the top of the list, there's a Father's Day breakfast, is that what that is?
Yes.
And what's the schedule on that?
It's the Father's Day, the 15th, and it's gonna be at 9:30. And this is the breakfast that James sponsored. And he wanted to make sure that the board members knew that they were invited.
Where is it?
It's gonna be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when you say James sponsors it, what does that mean?
He took cash out of his pocket and he put it on the table.
All right, great. I love people putting cash on the table.
He did.
Is that legal?
Is it? Sure. Yes.
No conflict of interest or ethics issue there?
Wow.
Okay.
Not for me, there isn't.
Okay.
In fact, if I come that day, I may put some cash in the basket too.
I just don't know how it's all being paid for, and it's probably something that should be run by ethics. Just my opinion on that. And the other thing is the
Took
pergola
money out of his
pad.
own pocket.
Pardon me?
He took the money out of his own pocket
I-
and gave it to a member of the board,
That
or a
might be-
member of the
Tenants
association.
Association.
That's fine. A lot of people take money out of their pocket and do things with it. But it has to be done properly when you're dealing with an agency, a state agency or a local agency. The other question I have is, pergola pad poured and prepared. Where is the pergola pad? And that's kind of, I think I know the answer to the question.
Up on the hill, yeah.
Up on what?
Up on the hill over here.
The hill being the old septic,
Yes.
leach field? How was that location chosen and who chose it? Does anybody know?
I believe that James and maintenance picked the location.
James and who?
The maintenance staff.
Oh, okay, they picked it. Because I heard no discussion about where that's going. And I think the board should be involved when there are physical changes to our property. And I'm very upset that that was not discussed and chosen. The other thing I want to know is, there's a mention that the 305 Webster Street project is in progress. What project is that? Do you know what particular project that is?
Let's see. Not off the top of my head.
That's 305 Webster, it's an ongoing thing where I see projects occurring from time to time.
So I will get that information for you too.
Thank you. And the other thing was, let's see. Where's it going? Oh, the idea about regionalization, that's always been in the regulations that you can have regional authorities. That's why Quincy is doing what they're doing now. There's 4 or 5 communities under here. But it's not, that's not really a regional authority though, is it? It's just that they're just marketed, they're management services, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them a regional authority at this
That's
point.
No, they're not called a regional authority
Right.
at this point.
So that's what I was wondering, what would a regional authority then be?
Well, the
'Cause
state would determine what the region is.
So they would, does that, I don't know what you've seen, does that sound like they would, like geographically?
I would assume it would be more geographic.
Because it's also something I would think you could contract out. You could just have any management agency
That would be up to
appear.
the state.
Yeah, and on paper, establish an agency, that's a manager.
That would be up to the state,
Yeah, interesting.
because it's still state funded.
They've done it with 911 centers regionally
Yeah,
around the
right.
state. You
Some-
have to build a local governance, you have to build sort of an authority. They have to have intergovernmental agreements.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of governance work that has to be done. In this case, it's basically just a contract between, the Quincy Housing Authority and the Marshfield Housing Authority. And the governance still remains local.
Interesting. Is there any guidance or commentary on this? What do you got?
Not yet. No.
I just wondered where you heard it, or where you read it. If they're pushing for regionalization,
No, I think that our first meeting's gonna be next week.
where is that?
With the executive directors,
All the execs are,
not all of them.
Selected executive
Selected
directors.
executive.
so EOHLC is conducting a meeting next week?
Yes,
Nice. In Boston?
I think,
Nobody knows that.
I think it's gonna be soon.
yeah.
Oh, they'll tune in if they let me. Oh, come
I'll make a
on.
motion to accept the,
Yeah, just one other question.
I second the motion.
One other question, does all of the maintenance need to be completed, the extraordinary maintenance need to be completed by June
It
30th?
needs to be started before June 30th.
Start, okay, thank you. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second.
I didn't get, who had the motion, I'm
I
sorry.
made the motion.
In the second.
That means,
Any further discussion?
Good report. Thank you, John.
Commissioner Pesevich,
Yes.
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes,
Commissioner Donaldillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Could I, I'm sorry, I know we just voted, but just minus the references to the updated town meeting.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, we did comment on that. yeah.
Old, new business? Anybody have any?
Not now.
Item 13, business not anticipated by the chairperson. Just now came out with something about ADA improvement grants available. Do you know if we applied for these at all?
I don't know what you did. Oh, that was the grant that was already given.
Every housing authority has
Aging in
that.
place, every
That
housing
was
authority got
the
a
agent,
portion of
that's,
that.
But that was one of the line items.
Yep,
I
aging
thought-
in place.
I thought that was a different one though, that's listed on this sheet.
I don't think so. I believe it's the same.
Because that says you have to apply by what, June
June
30th
13th, and I can ask,
or June
I'll
13th?
definitely ask James today.
You know, if we're qualified, I'd like to see if we can submit a request for the grant. And then last thing, when an employee departs the MHA, do we do an exit interview with the employee?
The executive director does.
Okay, thank you. And is that filed in Quincy or is it filed
That would be filed in Quincy, the file in Quincy.
with the personnel file? Okay, thank you. And that was it. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
No public comment?
Excuse me?
No public comment?
Did no one signed up?
Okay.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Tessevich?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett?
Yes.
Commissioner Delgadillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
It's all good.
I hesitated.
It's all good.
Like, did he say it already?
Thank you.
All right, so you got my number.
Yep.
You got call me.
Just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that'll work. And we'll do it at a meeting sometime.
All right. Oh, God, that'd be August.
Yeah, but not in August.
Oh.